I didn't paste anything in the title of this Periscope video because this is just a check-in video. I strongly urge you with every fiber of my being to check out my other Periscope videos dedicated to this Periscope account. Listen to what I have to state, research the descriptions, and when you're anything incorporated within the title of this Periscope videos, make sure you write down the URL characters and type them in at your URL address bar and proceed forward. Now, I'm going to make some predictions here. If anybody comes on this property or any wooded area property that I'm on, and that includes on entering and exiting, it will be gang stalking. No matter what they say within 100 feet of me or in my direct physical presence. I am referring to staged events directly connected to illegal criminal GPS tracking and covert business plans connected to gang stalking crime. Now, staged events can utilize anybody of any age, including employment descriptions. Because in order to hide the stalking and the criminal intent for the event, what they would do is play out verbal and physical theatrics to disguise their intent and the conspiracy behind it, and the tracking concerning it. And that includes staged probable cause. Staged events can also be used in order to bring the police to the area. Okay. Now, you can also research how neighbors, kids, teenagers, adults, students, can be used in organized stalking crimes, wittingly or unwittingly. So, see, what a lot of people who might just be becoming aware of what gang stalking is and might not know yet some of the things that I described, which is another reason why I make my videos, is to inform, to expose the truth, so people can make educated decisions about how to, what to look out for and how to protect themselves, their families, their property, and their loved ones. Is by and through exposing what I know and incrementally through my videos and my blogs, so they can take what I state and research it. Now, gang stalking is nothing but organized crime in the system. Every single last bit of it is about money, exploitation for money, and the protection of the same, and everything they do in order to bring up to achieve their objectives. Gang stalking is the name of a crime that is even literally made, and given by the perpetrators. Do not be confused concerning this crime. It is not stalking by gang at all. Okay. It is organized crime in the system. It is an up and operating networking syndicate all over the United States, perpetrated at the state, county, city, and local levels. But they also have operating, and part of the intrusiveness of this crime is because of the syndicated networking covert partnerships that the system uses pertaining to, excuse me for a second, pertaining to their networking covert partnerships. And let me give you an example concerning that. Have you ever watched the movie City of Industry, which is a movie about crime? You'll clearly see in that movie that at one point in the movie when they were trying to find a person, Harvey Keitel or whatever his name was, the Chinese mafia went and connected with a woman who worked at a phone company. And as a result of them having some information, they were able to find out the address of where a person was at. And the reason why I interjected that really fast is because there is a lot of truth, absolutely, in movies concerning how organized crime works, and so on and so forth. Now, the reason I brought that up is because I wanted to be able to immediately show you through a visual representation that it's not just organized crime. It's organized crime in the system that manages this entire expedition, including using the courts to end hospitals, judges, doctors, lawyers, prosecutors, public defenders, members in the DA's office. Okay, it is absolutely, completely directed from the government. Okay, but the syndicated members, can also absolutely be out and are out within the communities. And so my way of informing you, so you can research what I state, is for one motive only. So you can educate yourself, so you can make informed decisions about what to look out for, so you don't get entrapped in the snares of any of these techniques. Okay, now, so we're talking about doctors and administrative staff in all hospitals, including in private clinics and medical clinics, Okay, we're talking about members at university and college campuses. This crime is even going on in high schools and middle schools. Okay, uh, it's going on massively in the psychiatric community and in private psychiatry and private psychology services, including your neighborhood low-life medical clinics. Oh, absolutely. Make no mistake about it. This crime is infested and incorporated within every Section 8 housing and HUD housing projects. So Section 8 people and people in low-income housing, you better watch your back, because low-income people are some of the main targeted individuals that are being targeted with these extreme criminalities, including the elderly people. Okay, because they know that people that are in poverty and that are living in these types of situations usually don't have. They come from, most of them come from low income to upper to middle income, and once people become adults, and are out on their own, okay, if they're living in low income housing, the good chances are is that they don't have a lot of financial support and maybe even close family ties to family members, because you got to look at it this way: it's extremely easy to exploit and make money off of a poor person, believe it or not. Okay, than it is than it is it's easier to target them on a larger scale than it is to target the middle class and upper middle class and upper class, even though they're targeted as well. And the reason why I say that is because low income people don't have a lot of choices, because money causes limitations. So single mothers, single fathers, people on disability, the elderly, the disabled are massive targets of this crime. So um, now, another one of the main techniques of this crime is to infiltrate your life years before the open gang stalking starts towards you, and that even includes intimate infiltration. Okay, they'll infiltrate your circle of friends, they'll infiltrate your family members, even without their knowledge, or possibly even with their knowledge, okay, to some degree. And this is done so if you're trying to isolate a victim, so you can eventually set them up in massive exploitation, you got to make sure that that victim has nobody to run to for help. So they will infiltrate family circles in order to even gang stalk them, to tear their lives down, and to conquer and divide. So, fellow American citizens, make no mistake about this. I'm going to tell you another thing. You know, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to interject this. There's a lot of obsessive compulsive behaviors that are being neurologically induced as a result. Is you can go to Google and type in brainwave frequency list, okay, lunar cycles, and scroll through all those websites until you come up with the ones that show different types of brain states, and even different types of disorders. It clearly shows in this list that they can stimulate alcoholism to be active. Okay, how much money is the government making off that concerning DUIs? And I'm referring to remote neural monitoring brain stimulation, where they can literally identify the area of the brain, okay, that the limbic system, okay, where alcoholism, obsessive compulsive neurological ideations, and where the physiological aspect of the brain that's dedicated to alcoholism, okay, is located at. They can identify that area of the brain, and stimulate alcoholic relapses. So just trust me. You can go to Google and type in remote neural monitoring brain stimulation, and then go to Google and type in brainwave frequency list lunar cycles, and they got a few websites, so you want to make sure that you find the one and scrutinize all of them, but find the one that's got this, where it talks about the brainwave frequency range of post-traumatic stress, depression, anxiety, alcoholism, and so on. So how much money is the system making off of DUIs? Tens of thousands of dollars, even off of just one victim. So, fellow American citizens, welcome to one racketeering aspect of this criminal reality. And the average American citizen doesn't even know what's going on, because when a person's brain is being stimulated with remote neural monitoring, it's under the perceptual radar, so they have no idea what's going on. Okay, so that's a little tidbit of information I'm exposing out there. First, for the safety of the public, and second, for a payback for all the victims that have fell down and whose lives are probably absolutely still being destroyed to this date because of these wild, insane criminal maggots and what they do to innocent people. And make no mistake about it, police are definitely connected to that shit. Absolutely. Police ain't nothing but foot soldiers for organized crime and special interests. That's all they are. That's all they'll ever be. Hold on. Okay, so they made me homeless as a result of being a victim. Because they know that every human being on this planet has to sleep. So what they'll do is GPS track you to a wooded area, station an event, using normal apparent excuses, reasons, and mishaps, and they will absolutely dress the person up so the person has a legitimate excuse for coming on the property, or claiming they have a legitimate reason for being around the property, so they can say they saw the target or heard the target or saw the target's property, and then they are used to call the police or to confront the target to psychologically motivate them off the property. Okay, so and this is done to constantly make the target feel that they have no mental control over their situation. It's also done to put them in a constant hypervigilant mindset about being caught for camping or illegal lodging or trespassing or encroachment, and it's done to control the thinking, to make the target individual believe they have no power over their situation. It's done to keep the target in a non-stop victimized mindset, because the target is already aware that the homelessness was intentionally created because of these crimes, and then the same crime, okay, stalks them to the wooded area, props up the useful idiots that they use for the events, okay, and so the police can have normal appearing probable cause. Now, so what I do in response to these covert partnerships, these lying, filthy maggots in the system, and that absolutely includes the police that are involved in this crime, is I predict what these filthy maggots are going to do before they do it. Now, let me just put it to you this way. If they'll make a woman homeless, if they'll stalk them to a wooded area and stage an event, and try and dress it up to make it appear that it's anything but gang stalking by even using kids, okay, then I think that we would see that from the get-go, okay, that these people are nothing but criminally insane animals. So do you honestly think that a criminally insane animal will not lie in court or on a police report? Of course they will. So what I do in response to their covert partnerships and their illegal GPS tracking, okay, is I predict what these little cycles are going to do before they do it. So what kind of people would have the normal appearing reason to come on a property a target would be on? A jogger passing through the property, or passing by, or a kid with his mommy and daddy going for a walk, or a property owner who just magically appears, or maybe somebody doing landscape work for the property owner, or a neighbor who saw or heard the target, or saw the target's property, or anybody else. Because you got to remember, when they stage an event, they got to make it appear that it's happening through normal apparent excuses, reasons, and mishaps. They also stage events in order to bring attention to the area, okay? Through social deviants, punks, and criminals that they use, who get paid off with God only knows what. They'll bring themselves physically towards the target, okay? And they're told what to say before they even come on the property or around it. They'll say, "Let's go in here to rest," or "I gotta go take a piss," okay? And then when they come up to where they make sure the target sees them, whether the target says the first word or not, they will engage in dialogue in order to confuse the issue about why they're really here. Okay. "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were here." "Oh, I'm sorry, I just came on the property to rest," or "I'm just passing through," or "I need to stop here for a minute and go through my property," or "Oh, I'm sorry, sir, I didn't know you were here." And the reason why they'll call you a sir is because they're told what to say before they come on the property, because the ones who are using them know I wear a tape recorder. So they want to make it even appear on my own recording devices that a woman's not being stalked, because that makes the police look bad, because they know that there's videos online showing me report this to the police, and the police not giving two shits about it at all. And I'm talking about physical interactions I've had with police as they're being videotaped. Those videos have been put online. They are within my blog. You can go to my blog by going to Google and type. You can go to my blog by going to my Twitter account, which is at HIGGINSGGGG, which is even part of my Periscope account, which is the handle of my Periscope account as well. My blog is attached to the profile. Now, the reason why I went out of my way right now to describe this to you, as bizarre as it sounds, and trust me, it does sound bizarre, okay? But you gotta understand something. These filthy maggots know they're breaking the law. They know that GPS tracking is breaking the law. They know that stalking is breaking the law. They know conspiracy to harass is breaking the law. They know that conspiracy to stalk is against the law. They know the conspiracy to hack into a target's electronics and use them as GPS trackers is against the law. Felonies to the extreme. So they know everything they're doing covertly is breaking the law. Now, they know they're dealing with a target that's got multiple recording devices because cyber surveillance is a method of this crime, meaning that they cyber surveil every single thing a target does online, on their phone, their computer, every phone call they make, and even every physical mail delivery service that they use, meaning, post offices. Google that to gang stalking, okay? Because for them, they from the information they take from the surveillance is how they either take a threat assessment or a benefit analysis. Is what this target's doing a threat to us? If it is, what can we do to stop it? Or does it work and assist us as a benefit? Okay. So what they'll do is through the cyber surveillance, they can see how the target is in part responding to what's being perpetrated against them in their lives. And so if they see a target making a video saying, I wear a tape recorder running on me at all times, okay, then they know they're dealing with the target who's trying to catch them and trying to prove anything that has been brought about towards them intentionally, okay? So what they'll do is before they bring an event towards the target who's wearing recording devices is that they will rehearse what they're going to do before they do it. Absolutely. Make no mistake about it, okay? The only time that they will instruct a person to say something that could end up affecting them personally is because that person that they're using is being used by a middleman, and it's actually that person that they're currently targeting for jail because they're making money off of per inmate, federal and state funds. So if they want to bring somebody up against the target and by using a middleman, okay, is what they'll do is they'll say, approach this person, okay, this person did that, or this person did this, or if you do this for us, we'll give you some money or whatever. That person approaches the target, they do what they're told, because they probably don't even know what they're doing is gang stalking, like an assault or whatever. The target calls the police, and they come out and play their role, and then use the target as the complainant against this person, catch the person, never let the target know it, okay, because they know they're dealing with the target that knows a lot of truths about this crime. Okay, so they'll claim we can't find Miss Williams because she's homeless. Okay, the cops ain't nothing but criminal liars, absolutely. Okay, so they will sacrifice people that they use for these events as well, because it's not just the target who's being targeted. Okay, so what you got to understand here is that the police and the courts are using everybody. Okay, they're using people for events so those people can be set up. They're using people against targets so targets can be set up. And they're using people against targets so all of them can be set up. Okay, absolutely, make no mistake about it. But when they're bringing about an event towards a target where they want the target only to suffer, or at least as far as the target will ever find out, okay, is they gotta make it appear on recording devices that the target is being stumbled upon. Okay. Have you ever seen that bullshit on videos and maybe possibly through life experience or things you've seen on the internet about how people are saying that the cops came to their house because they got an anonymous call? Okay. Well, if you know anything about the law, the police will tell you right to your face that the anonymous call, we don't have to let you know who called us unless you subpoena them. Unless you subpoena the court records of the police reports. Now, if you're a gang stalking victim, you're never going to probably ever be in that position, at least while that current event is going on, pertaining to court proceedings that stem from the event, okay? You're never going to be able to do that because you're either kept in jail before trial, okay, pre-trial confinement, okay, where you can be set up for a host of crimes in jail through gang stalking, Google that, okay? or they'll make sure that once you're released and while you're waiting for trial, that the gang stalking will escalate towards you again at wooded areas, so you can be arrested again even before that trial. Absolutely. So you never have time to take the proper steps to do what you have to do in order to defend yourself in court and to show any criminalities that were intentionally perpetrated towards you that brought you to court. Okay? Now, stage probable cause is a huge aspect of gang stalking because the police know they're breaking the law. Okay? You understand that the courts and the prosecutors and the public defenders and the police don't know what laws they're breaking concerning gang stalking. Of course they do. They know every single last bit of it from head to toe because they're not only using their employment descriptions for this crime, but they're also using the system and their employment descriptions to protect it. So you better believe when they bring about something against the target, they're aware of every single law they're breaking. Every single one. They're aware of it all. So they always want to make sure that every law that is broken concerning everything that's brought about against the target from the beginning of the event until all the effects are achieved, okay, from the results of the event, they got to make sure that it is never discovered or exposed in court how the event actually was brought about. And they do that by through the techniques that they use that are disguised as normal appearing events, through stage probable cause where it's extremely hard to prove because of lies and private collusion. Okay, so what I do is inform what I know to the internet, so people can see what's really going on, so they can make informed decisions to protect themselves. Because lying criminal cops will throw you in jail, wreck the rest of your life from it, just like they're passing the pepper at the dinner table. They don't care. They're animals. Okay, literally. Okay, so and that includes. I'm going to tell you another thing. I strongly suggest that you research every single. Like I live in San Diego County, so that would be SDPD. There's also university police that have police powers off campus, and California Highway Patrol and the San Diego Sheriff's Department. All these police departments can be Googled to gang stalking, and look at what comes up. If you even get one response, but let alone if you get more than one response, make no mistake about it. If they're being identified, implicated persons in this criminal reality, do not dismiss it. Absolutely, because you got to remember this. Okay, human beings, when they wake up in the morning or when they go to bed at night, they don't sit back and think to themselves all these scenarios about victimizations happening to them. Okay, if they didn't. They don't stem from the imaginary constructs due to a mental illness, okay, where they're perceiving these things happening to them because of the constructs that stem from mental diagnoses, diagnosed or not. They come from factual experiences. Human beings don't wake up and think to themselves, I'm going to make up this huge story today just for the sake so I can think it to myself and make a video about it. No. Human beings don't operate this way. Just like you wouldn't wake up one day and think to yourself, I wonder how dairy is made at a dairy farm. Okay? You would not be thinking of anything that is not immediately concerning your life. Okay? Or something that you might be planning for the future. Okay? Human beings don't make up wild bullshit in their mind about things that they're not experiencing. You understand? Human beings do not operate this way. Now, let me give you another example, though, too. These filthy maggots are using also these neurological technologies to manipulate the neurological systems and the biological systems of the target to get the target to act out so they can be arrested and or confined. And by labeling the target as being a threat to themselves or others, mentally ill, okay, and or cannot take care of themselves. Now, this technology is called, but not limited to, voice to skull, remote neural monitoring, the microwave hearing effect, ultrasonic sound transmissions, voice cloning, okay, and BTK. Okay, I strongly suggest you research that extensively. Satellite technologies, psychotronics. Okay, do you really honestly think that all these technologies, which are being exposed by tens of thousands of people all over the world, being perpetrated with these crimes, being perpetrated with these technologies as a result of being gang stalking victims, do you honestly think that these technologies are not being used so the results from them being used can make them money? Do you honestly think that all this technology that is so sophisticated that it can control the neurological and biological systems during a staged event? Okay, So the event can then produce an arrest or a ticket. Then the courts, okay, process the tickets and through the hearings, and then that's when the target is nullified. Okay, that's when the bad things happen to a target is in court and in jails and in psychiatric wards. Okay, because the technology is being used to pipeline the target to these aforementioned descriptions, and that's where the money is made. Absolutely. Okay, I grew up wanting to be a cop. For many years, I grew up wanting to be a cop. During my early teenage years, I even mailed some information away. I even mailed for some information to the FBI when I was 19 before I met my ex-husband because I was thinking about going into law enforcement. Okay, because back then in the day, I didn't have a clue about the corruption. Okay, and then I started thinking to myself as I got a little bit older, I started seeing movies on TV about police corruption, and I said, well, I'm sure it probably exists. And so I thought, so when I still had these minor thoughts about being a cop, I thought, well, maybe I would be IAD, because I don't think there's almost anything that's not more dangerous than a corrupt cop. Because when you got the organized crime or the loosely knitted crime that's on the street in our community, okay, that's bad enough. But a police officer who's connected to and controlled by and working with organized crime, he can not only commit his crime, but he can target you and falsify any documentation about you, pipeline it before his partnering syndicated judge and his filthy maggot prosecutors and public defenders. Okay, and they can do anything they want to you, lie about every bit of it, blame you for every single bit of it, okay, and your life will become completely destroyed. Absolutely. So I thought to myself for a while, well, maybe I'll become a cop and be IAD. And then, okay, so many things were happening in my life because of gang stalking. Before I became an open gang stalking victim, okay, I never even really thought of it again, and I would never consider it now. Because of what I know now. I know that the entire system is nothing but a bunch of corrupt bullshit from the beginning to the middle to the end and every space in between. Absolutely. And in closing, check this out. Jeff Sessions, I guess he's the new Attorney General. I could be wrong. I don't know, because I don't even pay attention to politics anymore. Because that ain't nothing but a bunch of bullshit too. Okay, you can put a tuxedo on a vulture, and it'll still be a vulture. So I don't trust any politician. I don't give a crap who they are, flat out. Because when you get to be my age and you've lived through decades and decades of adulthood, and you've seen the things through your adult life, you've become aware that politicians aren't nothing but a bunch of corrupt puppets. Absolutely. I don't know how bad Trump is yet. Okay, we'll see in time. But let me just put it to you this way. At my age, I haven't yet seen one politician that I believe in that has done any good for anybody. Flat out. Okay? Flat out. Okay. So, the point I was going to make here just a second ago is that Jeff Sessions he did a live news broadcast today on ABC News concerning all these leaks that the internet is stating is going on, and I really don't have no opinion concerning that shit because the only opinion I got about our government right now is it's nothing but the socialists fighting the communists, okay? And maybe there might be a few people trying to stop it all. I don't know, But I do know this. When you look at what's happening to whistleblowers, I don't believe the government when they say in any way, shape, or form that whistleblowers have protections because they don't. They can prop up and process any type of paperwork and try and make it appear that the proper steps have been taken to hear a whistleblower's complaint or what they know. They can make it appear all legally that they want, that the person's actually being protected. But at the end of the day, that whistleblower will be creatively let go of, will be covertly blacklisted from future employment, okay, and probably even sucked into the gang stalking expedition. Make no mistake about it. You would not believe how many gang stalking victims are whistleblowers, okay? And I'm not just talking about the ones who became whistleblowers as a result of being gang stalking victims. I'm talking about whistleblowers that were out there, and because they whistleblew, they became gang stalking victims. So Google that as well. I do not believe in any way, shape, or form at all, period, that any government whistleblower is not retaliated against and never truly listened to, and all their complaints will be completely ignored, okay, and they'll eventually be fired and never be able to work for the system again. The system ain't nothing but a bunch of corrupt, despotic maggots. That's all they are. Okay, so fellow American citizens, this is my tidbit file today. I decided to make this video in order to inform, to expose the truth. Human trafficking is also connected to these extreme criminalities, including inside of jails, group homes, foster care homes, hospitals. I've seen, look, if you go to YouTube and you type in Stockton, San Antonio, and you see that these filthy maggots walked into two different women's homes and raped both of them in their own homes, do you honestly think that they're not raping women in hospitals, medical centers, jails, prisons, and group homes? Okay, women, 70% of all victims of this crime are women. At least 65% of those, at least 60% of those are reporting already sexual assaults. Okay, human trafficking is one of the main motivations of this crime. Okay, so do you honestly think that an organized crime group that owns a group home that is directly connected to gang stalking is not raping the women in them? Of course they are. So the next time you see a fucking cop out on the street, never respect that little psycho maggot. I don't give a shit. Unless you know them personally, never trust a cop, because they're one of the main perpetrators that are bringing these women to the courts, and the courts are the ones that are putting them in these group homes. Absolutely. I have no respect at all anymore for cops. Now, when cops are in my physical presence, I always make sure that my behavior is appropriate, because I don't want to give them any excuse to make it appear that they got legitimate reasons to do anything towards me. But deep down inside, I know them for what they are, through experience and absolute educated knowledge that's come from over 10 years of research. I know what I've seen them do to other women in Michigan. I know what I've seen them doing in Connecticut. I know what I've seen them doing here in San Diego. I know what I've seen them doing out in Yucca Valley when I went to Yucca Valley for a week from San Diego. Okay? Never trust a cop about anything, including when he approaches you, when he pulls you over for a speeding ticket, because you never know who he is selling your information to. Make no mistake about it. And in closing, here's another tidbit of information. It's being exposed all over the internet now that RFID chips are being put in $100 bills for legal tracking. So if you get your check cashed at a bank, and banks are involved in gang stalking, and RFID tracking is part of gang stalking, get rid of those hundreds and fifties, babies. Okay? Absolutely. Gotta get. My name is Rusty Williams. Let's see if I'm assaulted, arrested, ticketed, robbed, forced to move off of any property in the next 2 weeks from this literal second forward. And remember, when they stage events, they will use anybody for them, including the most innocent people of the communities, like elderly people and kids, and people have a normal appearing reason to know where I'm at, because they have a normal appearing excuse for being in the area. Staged events connected to gang stalking crimes are called street theaters. Google that. And when they stage events, they will stage the witnesses. Everything that I've stated in this video and in my other Periscope videos and the information disclosed in my blog can all be researched by description, to Google and YouTube when appropriate, by typing in the name of the descriptions to first gang stalking and then to organized stalking. California Attorney General, I'm aware about what's going on in the California University system. I'm also aware of what went on towards me at UCSD, the University of California, San Marcos, and SDSU. And I do not forget. So eventually I'm going to come after your office legally. Make no mistake about it. I'm not afraid of anybody. Fellow American citizens, you have a good day. I made this video to inform, to expose the truth. I do not do drugs. I don't drink. I do not sleep around. I do not steal. And I do not hang around anybody at all. And have not from the day I arrived in San Diego on August 8, 2011, up into and through this date. And the reason why I state these things is because the police will accuse you of anything, portray it as the truth, call you a liar, and then present those lies in court as truth in order to box you and to screw you over because you're a whistleblower. So what I do is expose what their psycho maggot asses will do before they do it. Thank you for listening, everybody. Please research my Periscope videos, my blog attached to my Twitter account, and you will see truth. Thank you.